November 4, 1980. Turning point. The election of Ronald Reagan as the 40th President of the United States was one of the most defining moments in modern American history. It represented a shift in political ideology, economic policy, and public confidence. Reagan's victory over incumbent President Jimmy Carter and Vice President Walter Mondale delivered a landslide, with Reagan receiving 489 electoral votes to Carter's 49. This election reflected a widespread desire for change amid economic struggles, diplomatic setbacks, and growing public discontent with government performance. During the late 1970s, the United States faced severe economic instability. Inflation reached double digits, unemployment rose sharply, and the nation endured an energy crisis that created long lines at gas stations. The term stagflation entered common use, describing the unusual combination of high inflation and slow economic growth. The Iranian hostage crisis, which began in 1979 and continued through the election, intensified feelings of national frustration. Many Americans believed that the United States had lost its global standing and sense of direction. Reagan's campaign capitalized on this sentiment by offering a vision of optimism and renewal. His central message focused on reducing the role of government, encouraging private enterprise, and restoring national pride. He famously asked voters, "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?" a question that captured the mood of the electorate. His charismatic communication style and clear, simple language resonated with voters across regional and party lines. Reagan's persona as a confident, straightforward leader contrasted with Carter's image of caution and technical complexity. Economically, Reagan advocated policies that would later be known as Reaganomics. This approach combined supply-side economic theory with a commitment to lower taxes, reduced regulation, and a smaller federal government. His campaign promised to cut income tax rates to stimulate investment, job creation, and economic growth. Reagan's victory signaled a major public endorsement of these principles and a rejection of the Keynesian economic policies that had dominated since the 1930s. His administration would later pursue the largest tax cuts in U.S. history at the time, reflecting his belief that economic expansion came from empowering individuals and businesses rather than expanding federal control. Politically, the election of 1980 redefined party coalitions and ideological alignments. It marked the rise of a conservative movement that blended economic liberalism with social traditionalism. Reagan united diverse groups, including suburban voters, Southern Democrats, evangelical Christians, and working-class conservatives. This coalition, often called the Reagan Coalition, became a dominant force in American politics for decades. The Republican Party also gained control of the Senate for the first time since 1954, giving Reagan a strong legislative platform for his agenda. Foreign policy played a crucial role in the 1980 election and its aftermath. Reagan promised to strengthen national defense and confront the Soviet Union with renewed resolve. His campaign criticized the détente policies of the 1970s and framed the Cold War as a struggle between freedom and totalitarianism. The promise to restore American military power appealed to voters concerned about global stability and national security. Reagan's later presidency would deepen this commitment through increased defense spending, the Strategic Defense Initiative, and a clear rhetorical opposition to the Soviet system. Reagan's election also represented a cultural transformation. The 1970s had been a period of social disillusionment following Vietnam, Watergate, and economic recession. Reagan's optimism revived faith in the American dream. His speeches spoke to patriotism, family values, and individual freedom. Many citizens viewed his election as a reaffirmation of traditional American ideals after a decade of uncertainty. His skill as a communicator earned him the title the Great Communicator, and his use of television helped shape modern political messaging. The 1980 election's significance extended beyond immediate policy outcomes. It reframed how political leaders approached economic management and public communication. Reagan's emphasis on market freedom, tax reduction, and limited government became central themes in later political debates. Even his critics acknowledged that the election altered the nation's political vocabulary, setting boundaries for economic and social policy discussions long after his presidency ended. Demographically, the election showed the growing influence of the Sunbelt states, regions in the South and West experiencing rapid population and economic growth. These states became Republican strongholds, reflecting broader shifts in national power away from the industrial Northeast and toward the South and West. The emergence of evangelical Christian voters as a mobilized political force further defined the new conservative base. In historical perspective, Reagan's 1980 victory marked the beginning of a conservative era that dominated American politics well into the 1990s and beyond. It ended the long period of New Deal liberal consensus and reoriented the federal government toward free market policies and stronger national defense. The election's long-term impact was evident in the continued influence of its core themes: economic freedom, optimism, and national pride. In summary, the election of 1980 was more than a contest between two candidates. It represented a deep public reassessment of government, economy, and leadership. Reagan's election signified a turning point that redefined the American political landscape, set the direction for future administrations, and restored confidence in the nation's identity and purpose. It remains one of the most transformative elections in United States history, establishing a legacy that shaped political and economic thought for generations. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.